Order at 7 o'clock. Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be kind of a fun night tonight. We have graduation tonight, so it'll be kind of fun to do that. Let's get going. Lisa, would you call roll, please?
Councilmember Hatfield.
Here.
Councilmember Hubbard.
Here.
Councilmember Wong. Councilmember McGraw.
Here.
Mayor Mitchell.
Here. Councilmember Wong is is in California, actually, with his family. So he will not be joining us tonight. Next, we are at adopting the agenda. Are there corrections or additions to the agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Councilmember Hubbard.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Hatfield to adopt the agenda. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Post same sign. Carries. All right, that moves us into visitor presentation. We have a number of them tonight. I'm gonna start from the bottom and come up because I know our first item's maybe gonna take a little more time, and I'll be that way the other folks, if they want to stay, they're more than welcome. But if they need to get going, they can as well. So with that, I'll start with Beyond the Yellow Ribbon and Libby Fairchild. Good evening, Libby.
Hi. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I stopped by today and asked to be put on the agenda, so I do appreciate it. Beyond the Yellow Ribbon of Chaska was established 11 years ago. And we are holding our 6th annual golf tournament out at Deer Run Club, Golf Club out in Victoria. It's in conjunction with the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans. Last year, we were able to donate $30,000 to them to help our veterans who are homeless or who have housing needs or in transition. I am desperately looking for golfers this year. We are kind of behind on getting our sponsors, and I'm still working on that. But it's 3 weeks from today. It's on September 11th, beginning about 11th. So if I just wanted to let people know we have spaces left for golfers, I'll leave this flyer, perhaps with the assistant administrator, and also I'll send you an electronic version so you can get it out and about. And that's really all I have to present tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Libby.
Any questions?
What time does it start? Is it a morning start or afternoon start?
Oh, it's morning. It's an afternoon. It includes lunch, 11 to 1. You check in and then you get lunch as part of your payment. The shotgun start at 1. And then from 5 to 6, there's a happy hour with complimentary tap beer. And at 8 o'clock, it's dinner and awards.
Or any other sponsors too?
I need sponsors. And my email address is on here. You want to do a sponsorship?
I mean, I own a business that just might.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
No problem. There's just so many golf tournaments in September. It's just crazy how everybody has their event.
This is the best one.
I know.
Well, just I'm going to say something here. Just Thursday night, I think I got a $10,000 sponsorship. It occurred to me that I should be maybe talking to my own tribal nation. So as part of that, it's the first time we've had a $10,000 sponsor. As part of that, I offered them a posting of the colors, and there might even be a drum there. So it could be very interesting, unique golf tournament. I don't know that for sure because it's just happened on Thursday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing that in, Libby, and we'll get it out as best we can.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next on my list is Chaska Historical Society update from Lisa Oberski. Hello.
I'm Lisa Oberski, for those of you who don't know. I'm here with the Chaska Historical Society, and I just wanted to share some of the really exciting things we have happening this fall. We've got a lot of family-friendly activities coming up that I think you should be aware of. First of all, our interactive exhibit, which is Will You Live to Be 100? A retrospective on health and wellness in Chaska. is still occurring, and it's free of charge to anyone. We are open this week, 1 to 4, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. However, starting next week, we're going to be getting into our fall hours, and then we'll just be open Tuesdays and Fridays from 1 to 4. And also, if you have a group or if you need to come in at a different time, please reach out. You can email us or phone us, and we can arrange a special time for you to come in, either by yourself or with a group. We're happy to do that for you. Are you having problems with a sprained ankle, a headache, and a sore throat? We've got someone who can help you. We are going to be having Susan Hines, who performs as Violet McNeil. Violet McNeil was a old-time medicine show entertainer back in the early 1900s in St. Paul, Minnesota. She's an honest-to-God woman who went around selling her wares to unwary folks. Pardon?
Snake oil.
Oh, yes, snake oil and other such things that will cure everything that you've ever had wrong with you and more. She is going to be joining us on September 15th, which is a Friday at 1 o'clock, and then also September 23rd, which is a Saturday at 1 o'clock. That will be outside the History Center. Unless we have inclement weather, then we'll move inside the History Center. But she's going to be fabulous, a reenactor, telling it as it is, giving you the whole truth about these medicines and how they can fix everything that's ever been wrong with you. So we, again, free of charge. So please check it out, stop on by, and it'll be worth your while. One last thing that we have going on is affectionately known as the ghost tours. These are hauntings in history, which are walking tours around downtown Chaska, where you'll get to learn some of the not so familiar stories of happenings in various homes and businesses. We are not saying that ghosts do or do not exist. That's kind of beside the point. What we're doing is we're sharing the stories and kind of tantalizing you with history along the way. There will be some explanations of why things are happening, depending on what people have managed to dig up as far as the history goes, and other just wonderings. And in a world where you can Google everything, it's kind of fun to have things that you can wonder about. Anyway, Chaska's spirits as a whole are a very nice lot. There's just one curmudgeonly sort of person. So it's very family friendly. It's a walking tour. It would be leaving at like 6:30 at night. And these are the first couple of weekends in October, October 6th and 7th, and the 13th and 14th. If you're interested in those you would need to register for. They are $15 a person, but we go rain or shine. And you can go on our website, www.chaskahistory.org, and register for them via that site. They'll link you to the registration process. As I mentioned, the walking tours are about an hour and a half or so, and they should be a lot of fun. So, as always, you can reach us at historical@chaskahistory.org or via the old-fashioned phone at 952-448-6077. And we look forward to having many of you participate this fall. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share this.
Thanks for joining us. Any questions for Lisa? I think I need to talk to you. I might have some stuff on their ghost tour, but it's not walking distance. So,
Ooh, well, you know, we can share stories without having to walk right past the location.
I'll
Awesome.
talk to you. I'll
Sounds good.
see what you think.
Thank you so much.
I do have some stories.
Thank you.
Oh, stop it. All right. Next on my list is kind of we call it a program recap, but I call it kind of graduation. So I'm sure Julie's leading this. We had a couple great people with us this year. We had Christian and
Wesley.
Wesley, geez, I just talked to you. And it was fun to see him out and about. I didn't get to see him as often as I hoped. They harassed me on the golf course. The one day I golfed out at the town course, the only day I golfed out at the town course, and they're out there harassing me. And what do? I hit it right in the sand trap. And they loved every minute of it. Wesley, don't be giving me that. Give me that look. Don't even go there. All right, I'll turn it over to Officer Julie.
Well, I just wanted to come here and thank you again for
Can I
all.
stop you one?
Yeah.
Family members, you're welcome to come up here if you want photos. This place is wide open for photos, so don't hesitate to move about while we're talking. Sorry.
So again, just thank you for your support for our Growth Through Opportunity program for all of our city departments. We can't thank them enough. As you know, our program runs for 8 weeks and it went by in a blink, right? It's amazing how quickly it went. The kids had so much fun. All of our city department heads are absolutely fantastic with our youth. And I think they love it just as much as our kids do. So it's a big learning experience for both our city staff and also for our youth. So I think it's just a win-win all around. So we have a short little video. I think, Kevin, are you ready to go with a video of what they did for the 8 weeks? We'll see if he's ready here. Maybe not. He's got a short little clip of put together for what they did for the 8 weeks. So here we go.
Hopefully it's not Christian interviewing me, drilling me.
It might be.
That was the hardest interview I ever had to do. No way. I'm not getting any voices or just the music. Hey, what do you, Wesley, what's in my chair? There it is. There it is.
It's got the cheese. It's got the cheese.
Ooh, look at that. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do up there. Yeah.
Good Lord. These were the only ones that got.
Yeah, yeah. So as you can see, they did a wonderful job, had just a wonderful time, and we were really excited because CCO contacted us and did a story. So those of you who didn't see that, there's a link out on our Facebook page. That was really exciting to share all of what they have been doing too. So we hope other cities, League of Minnesota Cities actually contacted us as well, and they are going to have it on their webpage also as an opportunity for cities to take advantage of. So it's exciting, really, really exciting. So anyway.
All right, if you recall, when we met in June, when we swore in our 2 new cadets, I said I was gonna put you on the spot on the last night, do you remember? So you've been every city department, and you've had fire, you've had police, you know, all the ones that we've seen. So I'm not gonna judge you on this. Let's start with Christian. What was your favorite part of going through opportunity?
I like just like the electrical department, city administration. I thought every department was cool, and I think it was very cool, Chief, because, you know, we weren't just stuck with the administration for 10 weeks or
Thanks, Christian.
I got to go out and spend time with all the departments.
Hard to
And
choose just one favorite. Do you think? Or
I
you have
like
one?
electrical,
Electrical.
cause they had that truck.
Christian, can you move more to the podium so we can see you? The audience can't see you. Move right in front of that podium.
We got up in a big truck.
Oh, now turn around though. Now turn around toward us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Administrators are behind you.
Sorry.
There you go.
I didn't know where to talk.
Now the camera can see you.
Yeah. And I waved at people from below. And it was really fun. And I also thought the food thing with Kevin was cool. To pick up free food, that was just awesome. I even did a Facebook Live video.
Nice. They kept you busy.
What about the golf course?
And I thought the ride in the golf cart was cool, and how they turned on the irrigation was really cool. And I loved being interviewed by CCO.
Sounds like you had a lot of highlights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Administration.
I like that too. I like that too. Remember, Matt, we played beanbags the first day.
Well, we have it coming up again next week, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
What was our team name?
The Crushers.
Crushers. The Crushers are coming back next Thursday, and we're gonna take them on.
Let's stop the clock.
Mhm.
It's a name I came up with.
Crusher and the Bruiser.
So how about you, Wesley? Oh, sorry.
Can I say something? I really enjoyed the staff, Dickie at Public Works, the mechanics, Chris were nice, John was nice, Mark was awesome, and everybody was awesome to accommodate my wheelchair too. So I just want to thank you guys for choosing me to do this. And whoever does this next year, I hope they have as much fun as I did.
I'm glad that you were here.
Yeah.
You had a good experience.
Yeah.
Wesley,
It's awesome, Christian.
how about you? All the things you did, what was your favorite?
Oh.
There's no wrong answer.
Leslie, move up toward me. Right there. Perfect. Scoring that touchdown, right?
Yeah.
Did you like the fire department?
Yeah, I like our apartment. And how you live the car. And I like doing cleaning things. Yes, and I like the department. I can big bucket, get physical power.
You're not afraid of heights, are you? When you get up there in the bucket?
Went all the way up, didn't you?
Yeah, got put.
You're braver than me. I don't like heights.
Yeah.
Good
I
job.
need spikes on too.
Yeah, you got the spikes on.
Mhm.
And I saw both of you on TV when
Yeah.
you were interviewed. I think you did a very good job.
Mhm.
Anything else stick out in your mind? Something that was special?
Yeah. And I was the mayor before. Yes, you are.
My buddy Wesley, that a boy.
Yeah.
Just didn't get to see you that often. You guys were so busy.
Yeah.
Man, this 8 weeks just flew by. I just like, seems like we were just here,
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, so.
you know.
Wesley, who are you playing beanbags with?
I play with Eric.
Yeah. He's playing in the tournament too. With Eric from Water and Sewer.
And there's something really important I want you both to know, that this doesn't have to end after 8 weeks. So this is the second year of Grow Through Opportunities. We've had 4 cadets now that have gone through the program, and another one of them is sitting right now behind us. Mitchell is back over there, and he was a cadet last year with us. So I want you to know that we can stay in touch, because I'm confident we'll do this again next year. And we'll have another group of cadets come through. And, you know, if you're available, unless I know you're both busy guys with different stuff in the summers, but we'd love to have you come back and meet with the new cadets.
I'd love to come back.
And you'd be more than welcome. So
Mitchell, while you're up here, what was your thoughts about last year's program?
Feels pretty good, and I'm happy with Julia Jenkins group, all people. I like it. It's kind of fun.
Did I hear something? Are you working out at the town course?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome. So is that fun?
It is. Got a great staff. Got a great staff. Madam John, come up here, please.
John doesn't get up here very often. That's pretty good.
That was good. Nice segue.
So just so you know, Mitchell, his Lida, his job coach is hardly there anymore. We're almost at full independence. He's driving golf carts by himself.
Awesome.
So a lot has happened in 8 weeks.
Yep.
So
Now, how long will Mitchell, is he gonna stay around for a little, through the golf season?
through the golf season,
Okay.
come back in the spring. He's part of our team.
Nice.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Well, that just shows that there's opportunity, that's what growth through opportunity. And here's the first group that came through. Look at the results already.
Yeah, and we kind of have sights set on maybe something at the loop for this guy right here.
Yeah.
So we're
That's what
gonna,
I heard.
we're gonna talk a lot more about that.
I'm excited to see the golf course.
Us too.
Yeah.
I could put you on the spot and ask when it's opening, but I would never do that to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great program.
Yes, no, it's an awesome program. I just want to reach out to all of the, because I think that this touched pretty much every employee somewhere along the line had a piece of this, and that they're also willing. It just, you see the pictures and you talk to everybody, just has absolute blast when these guys are around. So I think that's so cool to see that. You don't see that just everywhere. And I just think that that's a real tribute to all of our staff about how great they are. And they see sometimes management can see a program and say, we think it's pretty cool. And they look at it the other way. I see this totally the opposite, that they absolutely think that this is pretty neat, because you can tell just their interactions with them that they're not playing a game, they're having fun. they're enjoying every minute of it. So,
So kudos to Chief and Julie for making this happen.
absolutely. Are there other departments that are cities doing this?
For this,
We are the third in the state.
Okay.
So Wyoming PD was the first, and then Orono PD, and then we are the third.
And so League of Minnesota Cities is putting on their site and inviting other cities. That's pretty good. Pretty
I think
cool.
There you go.
Good job, everyone.
It's the only city that they've gone through multiple departments as well. I think everything else has just been with.
Oh, okay.
Right.
and when Julie first approached me about this, well, 2 years ago now, I knew we would be unique in the sense that we have an electric department, we have a town course, and we just have a staff that is engaged and welcoming. And to kind of echo what the mayor said, I mean, I have to throw out the deep appreciation to all the departments, everybody that's participated in this, and also specifically to Officer Janke, and then also to Alexandra from Empower Inclusion, just making this all come together. But last but not least, I don't know if you know what challenge coins are for an organization, and these are things that we don't hand these out to everybody. The police department challenge coin is something that we award to people for a particular accomplishment or an achievement. So I want to give you both a police department challenge coin for completing our cadet program. And you remember when you took the oath on the first night?
Yeah.
I think you guys fulfilled your job as cadets within that oath, and this is for that achievement. So I thank you.
Have them stand, have them come up. Oh. Chief, have them come so that the cameras can see.
Absolutely. Can you guys come back up here?
Forward again, and Wesley, come on up, show your coins.
Show the coins or towards the.
So the camera, there you go, perfect. That's awesome. And we'll leave you there. Hold on a second, we got some folks coming around to take some photos. You can come all the way around if you like.
Also get it, you want a photo with the cadets in front here?
Oh,
Yes, eventually. We'll get this one and then we'll move them forward. Christian, remember you asked me about, we should get other cities to do that?
Yeah.
Well, now here we go. It's starting to go.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, now you got to come up here and then they're going to take a photo this way. Come on up here, Wesley, by me. Are you able to get through there? Are those cords in the way? Okay. Perfect. Yeah, why don't you grab this one? You guys, are we all in together?
You want us to stand or sit?
I think if we stand, we're too tall though.
Everyone. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, I'll move out of the way.
Kevin, get one like this.
There we, I'm getting that one. Uh-oh, Christian.
You got busted, Chris, or I got busted.
Yeah, Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell.
Yeah, get up here, Mitchell.
The veteran.
Yes. Good job.
Were you guys smiling for that?
So
I'm gonna do
Wesley?
one. I'm gonna take one.
Wesley,
more,
were you
Julie.
will
smiling?
you take one with Chief and I?
Yeah, why don't you get in there?
Yep.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Good job. you guys.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Mitchell, thanks, Wesley. Thanks, Christian.
Thank you. Great job, you guys.
Congratulations. Thank you. See you somewhere, right? Right. Okay, see you soon. Christian?
Yeah. What a life-changing opportunity.
No more interviews from you. You're too hard. You're too hard, okay?
That is awesome. I was just telling Ethan that I was like, I gotta get out there at least once before we go. Yeah, I would need to go with my brother. Driving.
I know, we'll see you at something.
Haven't yet this summer. I'd go for this. Ew.
Oh, I already did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, smile.
I don't. No? Okay. Too late. Should we just wear our other ones? I don't know. I'm open. Exhausted. I know.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We greatly
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Chris Worley came. That's cool.
I'll need to ask Kevin after. Okay. I always get a little sad when they all leave.
Yeah. That sure did seem to go fast. All right, is there anyone else that would like to speak at visitor presentation? Come on up, state your name and your address, please.
No, it's not.
My name is Dan Cruz and I live at 4275 Creek Road. My concern is about the development that's going around my farm site and the impact that it's having both on my business and my residential life. And all I want is someone to come on site and see my situation and walk it through with me. I've been going through this with my wife and myself for 6 years with no answers.
Going through this for 6 years?
Yes, they want to take one of my driveways away that leads to my business.
Is it on your property?
Absolutely. I have 4 driveways.
How many?
4.
I mean, I know where you are. I've seen it, but I don't know the situation with the driveways. So I
know you don't. You are my last resort. I have tried to talk to everyone I could think of about this situation. And I do not want in any way to have an aggressive posture even here this evening. I need help. I'm a resident of the city of Chaska. I've asked for help for 6 years. I have asked for documents in writing so I could make decisions. To date, I've not received one document.
I guess I don't know the story here, but I guess it surprises me that no one's talked to you, because that's not like how we operate. That seems odd.
I understand that, Mayor. I would hope you didn't operate like that. But when I ask for documentation, can I please see this document? And I am told by the people that I've talked to on my property that they will get it for me, and I never receive it. That's not okay.
And what kind of documents are we looking for?
I need the documents that tell me the permits that they have to do the work that they've been doing. They're putting roadways in and things, and I want to see the permits. This land, I know the boundaries of my land.
So you're saying the road's on your land?
Absolutely, sir. All it would take is someone to come to my property and I could say, here's the property line.
Is it actual property line or what? I mean, I know what it's like. A lot of people assume there's a property line, but that's really not the property line. That's what they've maintained and taken care of for years.
You surveyed it. I don't mean you personally, sir. It has been surveyed. Excuse me. I do not want to be accusatory. I want help.
What I can tell you is that we certainly can provide as staff a summary of where we've gone through this, and we can certainly provide it to you too. And I understand that there's going to be disagreements that you have probably with the summary, but that might help to be able to, give you guys a broader understanding of the process that we've gone through here. It's not atypical to a process that we typically would go through, but we certainly can put together a summary document to get to you to show you what we've done. I mean, because obviously we've been talking about this for quite some time, about Creek Road and sort of the future of Creek Road and Savannah Drive and things coming down like that. But certainly if we do that, I can provide a copy to you just so you have it and so you can at least understand It sounds like you're not understanding some of the,
Oh, I beg to differ with you. I understand.
Right.
I understand fully what's going on to my property. I understand the impact on my business and the impact on my personal life and my residence. What I can't understand is why no one has come to honor my request to come to my property and let me walk them through and show them my concerns. Why had,
Sorry, for the while, I'm John, by the way, we've talked.
oh, I think I talked to you on the
talked a
phone.
couple times, and I, have worked with Matt Clark and Matt Oberski.
Sure.
Understand, so I do appreciate you coming, because again, it's good to hear that piece of that. Just a
Okay.
clarifying question, when you talk about, are you referring to the city or are you referring to the council when you say someone come to your property? Because again, I know you invited me, and I'll be honest, up here, I have not been to your property. I've driven that road. But I also understand that I'm not the person to sit and make decisions on where property lines are and easements. That's this group here. That's the city. I entrust the city, and I listen to a voice and provide that feedback. So I just want to clarify, to me, is a little bit when you refer to like someone come to land, are you asking for someone from the city and the city administration, or are you referring that to the council? Because again, I think the right people, in my opinion, the right people really are the city, who can understand property lines and the process. Again, I will never pretend I'm not expert by any means, and that's not what I'm elected to be as an expert either. So,
Okay.
So I'm just clarifying question. When you say someone come,
Yes.
are you referring to the council or someone from the city?
I will clarify to the best of my ability. My concerns are that, and I don't know who to ask to come to my property. I don't know. I have asked several people, but I need someone that can talk to me about the right-of-way that is on my property for the road to be built. I've asked for a copy of that right-of-way for 6 years. Well, if it exists, just give me, please, the right-of-way. So I moved onto that property in 1999 before the city of Chaska owned it. I mean, before I was part of the city of Chaska, I was annexed in. I love Chaska. I don't like not having a voice through what happens to my property. So who do I call? Tell me, please.
well, I would suggest that, I can certainly come out and be a part of the discussion, but I will say that people have been a part of the discussion on your property. We've had city engineer, we've had our consultants that work, so we have been out there before.
Okay, may I ask you clarification? Who's been on my property and talked to me about these?
I know our city engineer, Matt Clark, has been involved in this process for quite some time.
He's been involved in the process, but I regret to inform you that he is one that has not provided me with the documentation I've requested.
Yeah.
I have been very explicit and said, I need documentation, time to review the documents, to sit down with my wife, myself, and make the decisions that we need to make. If we need to exit, we'll exit, but we want to exit on our terms like everyone else. So 6 years is a long time for nobody to show up. And I don't understand. Yes, Matt's been on my property, but if there's not correspondence to my requests, I'm sorry, I'm a businessman. If you want to make me an offer, or if you want me to do something for you, would you please put it in writing? Because till it hits writing, I'm a businessman. That means absolutely nothing. That's hearsay. That's all. I want clarification. I didn't want to go anywhere. And I understand you're developing, and more power to you. I think it's great Chaska's developing. There's room for both of us.
Well, Matt said he'll get you documents. We'll get it figured
I'll follow
out.
up with you.
Sure. Do you need contact information? What do you need from me? This is my business card, and I'll circle the best number to reach me at. Should I present it to you?
Pick it up, Matt.
Thank you.
I really have nothing else. I appreciate you hearing me, and I love Chaska. I just want you to know that.
No.
Okay,
Hopefully we'll get this resolved and we'll get it figured out.
awesome. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else here that wants to speak under visitor presentation? That's not on an agenda item. Kevin, anybody online?
No.
Okay, all right, at this point, we'll move on then to item 6, approving previous meeting minutes, and that's from council meeting 7/31/23. Are there corrections or additions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve previous council meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Hubbard, second by Councilmember Hatfield. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, post same sign. Consent item. These are items that don't necessarily need a conversation, but need to be approved by council. Anyone can be pulled off if there are any comments or questions on an item. So with that, I would ask, is there anyone that has any comments, questions, or concerns on the consent item?
I was just gonna comment, it's good to see the final for structures. I know that's been there back, changed a little bit, and it's been a journey, so it's good to see that final come through. Excited about that.
And I would just add that I like that Red Bench Bakery is adding another form of business with their business. So I think that that's exciting and another way to draw people down at different times of the day. And so I thought that was interesting, and I was happy to see it there. So anything else?
Motion to approve consent.
Motion by Councilmember Hatfield,
Second.
second by Councilmember McGraw to approve consent. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Post same sign. Carries. All right, we move on to item 8. Adopt resolution 2023-69 and ordinance 1036 approving a variance and rezoning request for wooded steep slopes for Linda Carlson.
Mayor and Councilmember, this is an item coming back from the Planning Commission with a recommendation for approval. We'll have Liz go through and sort of explain the rationale for why we think this is a good solution for where Linda Carlson is planning on putting her property or house on her property that she currently owns just south of Ensconced Woods. With that, I will turn it over to Liz.
Mayor and members of the council. So we have a variance request and a rezoning request this evening for the project we're dubbing as Linda Carlson's home. The variance request is specifically from the wooded steep slopes and the setbacks that apply to that. So to just give you a visual background of where the property is located and the adjacent properties as well. The Ensconced Woods development that Matt previously mentioned is highlighted in the green outline here. So this was a development that went in and was approved in 2022 and is under construction as we speak. Within that development area was the location of Linda Carlson's former home, which is pointed out on this aerial. So as a part of that development plan, that home was demolished to make way for the new development. So during that time, it was anticipated that she would be looking at a different portion of her property that she owns to locate her long-term home. The area just to the south of Ensconced Woods is also owned by Linda Carlson. So she still retains about 30 acres south of the ravine in Ensconced Woods, which is highlighted in orange here. They're broken up into 2 15-acre parcels. The eastern parcel is kind of the parcel in question this evening for where the home of Linda Carlson is being located. A couple other adjacencies, Rivertown Heights, second edition is the DR Horton neighborhood and development that got approved last year as well, which abuts the western side of a portion of Linda Carlson's development. That provides 2 stub streets, which provide access to a portion of some of the 15-acre western parcel owned by Linda Carlson. The Llano property is immediately to the south here, and this is where the former gravel pit used to operate out of and what is being remediated as we speak. And then the Schramm House Brewery building is outlined in yellow here. So this is the business immediately east of the eastern Carlson. And this currently accesses off of Chaska Boulevard to the east there. So this property is mentioned because Linda Carlson will be obtaining a couple easements from Schramm House for both the utility extensions as well as the temporary access out to Chaska Boulevard. So in terms of some existing conditions out here in this site, the 15-acre site owned by Linda Carlson, it's currently zoned open and is guided as low-density residential in our comprehensive plan. Because of the open zoning district, it does need to get rezoned in order for the home to be built on the parcel. So the rezoning request this evening would be to the same zoning district that Ensconced Woods was put into. The parcel is also located in the area known as the Municipal Urban Service Area, or what we call the MUSA. So because of that, they are required to hook up to city utilities if they do build on the parcel. So they are proposing that as a part of the overall request is to hook into city utilities.
So Liz, from this photo right here, where would those utilities have to come from? Aren't they not on the back side of the east side of Schramm?
Correct.
So they're gonna have to come all the way through their parking lot?
Nope, it would happen on the north side here, just north of Schramm, and then connect or come into the slope area just on the north side. So it wouldn't come through their parking lot necessarily.
How's it gonna get up there?
They're gonna make it work. They're gonna build it up there, up the slope, basically. And
So they're gonna come up on the north side of Schramm.
correct, yep.
Ooh.
And I realized in my exhibit, I cut off where the utility extensions are on my PowerPoint, but I can try to show in the proposed exhibit where that's happening.
What kind of issues is that gonna create when the remaining part of where once that gets fully developed and the driveway is gonna come in to their house from the top? Isn't that gonna be awkward the way these utilities are coming into that?
Actually is probably going to be a better situation because the utilities won't be extended as far as it would if it was coming from the development when it does get developed, because of where the house is sitting in relation to where this cul-de-sac will be laying out. So this will actually be a closer connection, excuse me, for them.
I think there's 2 questions there. One, what's today's need, and what's happening, what will happen long-term? There's a temporary solution for how to serve the house. When utilities come into the area in the future, that property would be served traditionally like everybody else. And it likely would be converted incorporated into a development, no different than what typical properties are.
So we're gonna run electrical up there, and then when it comes down the other way, we would disconnect that other one? And at whose expense is that?
It's part of the, so actually part of that property is served by Minnesota Valley. So there's a cutoff there. So we serve kind of right up to Schramm. There's a decision that we'll need to make kind of long-term is what happens to that service territory for where this property is.
I mean, I'm not against this. It just seems weird that this is all temporary and then it's gonna be fed from the northwest, and it's kind of awkward in some ways, and so I'll continue listening.
Oh, it's okay. All
Question.
valid questions. Where was I? So the property is approximately 15 acres in size. There are delineated wooded steep slopes on the northeast and southeastern and west sides of the property. So it is fully surrounded almost by wooded steep slopes and the setbacks that adhere to that. So they did select this area on the northeast side of their parcel. That's basically a high plateau and flat area, a little bit thinner tree cover than kind of the majority of the site. So they did choose the site with some logistical thinking in mind, just in terms of having a flat spot to locate the home, as well as located in an area that would make it more feasible when development does come down the road in the future to have everything fit in a logistical pattern. And lastly, the other thing I wanted to point out is this open area that's on the east side of the site, which is what you see in this bottom image as well. So it is an area that's accessed off of Schramm House Brewery's site today. This area was excavated a number of years ago. And then when Linda Carlson took ownership of the property, Carver County Sheriff's Office, as well as the City of Chaska's Police Department, did use this area as a shooting range for a number of years, which the Carlson family were in agreement to in terms of the usage of this area. Only recently, or a number of years ago, that use did end, but recently the cleanup efforts of this area did take place a couple of years ago to clean up that site from.
That was actually an agreement we had with Carver County when we went through the whole transaction with the Schramm House.
An interesting little notch in the Carlson parcel here. So the request, what it really includes this evening, is to construct a single family home and a driveway on the property. The driveway is the only piece that would encroach into the wooded steep slopes and the 30-foot no grade, no mow setback that's required from the edge of those slopes. So the rezoning request would change the zoning district from the open zoning district to PRD 81. And then the variance request would include a variance from section 15.28100C, which is the setback from steep slopes. A couple tidbits of the applicant's statement for practical difficulty for the variance request. They are proposing to encroach up to 275 feet total from the various points of encroachment for the driveway. There are a couple areas where the wooded steep slopes exist, and then the setbacks kind of almost overlap each other. So it does make it difficult for some of the area to gain access without it encroaching into those setbacks. They did choose the home site to create a high level ground, plateau elevation, and more of a thinner tree cover area, so there is less impact on trees. The home itself will not encroach into the wooded steep slopes or the setbacks, so that will be outside of the steep slope and setback areas. The steep slopes that kind of are arranged around that excavation area where that former shooting range was. They're arguing that those could be looked at as more of a man-made slope there versus something that's naturally created due to the pushing of the fill and the dirt over there, creating those steeper slopes. And the driveway where it's proposing to punch out basically encroaches into kind of that man-made slope area. Schramm House has already provided temporary access easements for the driveway, plus a utility easement to extend the utilities across their property to the Carlson lot. So those two pieces are figured out in terms of getting the necessary connections to occur. And then the driveway and access of the home are in a location that are fairly obscure from adjacent properties. So there are attempts being made to save the most amount of trees and place the home and the driveway in a location that wouldn't preclude future development to occur on the site in the future. So this drawing shows in red where those wooded steep slopes have been delineated and are presumed based on the topography of the site. So as you can see, the wooded steep slopes really do wrap around a majority of the site. The south area is kind of that only area that would, from a high level perspective, appear to be the non-encroachment area for a potential access point, but that is contingent upon the Llano property developing to provide access in that direction. So they are, again, locating Linda Carlson's home on the northeast side, as that would be the quickest or shortest connection out to Schramm House's entrance here, which would provide access out to Chaska Boulevard. So this would be that logical temporary allowance for the Carlson home to be able to be utilized and built on their
So in
property.
the area with the white lines, there are no trees, that's just open?
Here?
Anywhere?
No, there are trees all along this site, but from a topographical standpoint, they're not what we consider wooded steep slope, which are preserved by ordinance. So those are areas that are a little bit flatter and don't have the 18% slope. So in essence, they're not preserved by ordinance. So to give you just a very simplified graphic of where the encroachments are planning to occur, the main encroachment into the wooded steep slope and the 30-foot setback is proposed basically where the driveway is punching out into that open area and connecting into Schramm House's driveway. So the yellow indicates those encroachments. The hatched area is the wooded steep slope. The first line beyond that is the 30-foot setback. So there's an encroachment where the driveway access is coming out from Schramm's, and then a couple smaller encroachment points into the 30-foot on the north side of where the driveway sits as it leads it up to the house. Just to give you an aerial visual of kind of that layout and what that looks like, if we need to refer back to that.
What's that little pump out right there? What's that all about? In the middle, right there? Yeah.
That's a fire turnaround opportunity there. So if anyone needs to turn around, whether it's either emergency vehicles or other people who are visiting the site, they have kind of that midpoint area to turn around if they need to exit the site. And then this just shows the tree impact with the driveway and the house. So a total of 11 trees will be impacted from the driveway and the house itself. So again, they are doing the best that they can to avoid impacts out there. I think it's quite impossible to try to save everything out there, trying to weave a driveway and a house through there. So impacts are inevitable. But I did want to note the two smaller encroachment areas into the 30-foot were kind of intentional to save a couple trees that are on the north side of where the driveway is positioned near the home. So those smaller encroachments are meant to save the two more significant trees kind of on the north side there. And that's,
They like oak trees?
yes, they are oak trees. Yep. And then just a big picture layout of how the home would fit into kind of that future development plan. So again, the home is located on the northeast corner of the site. So it really pushes it in an area that doesn't preclude the rest of the area to develop in a logical manner. So again, the access to these other, the development meant for the Carlson property would have to come from the Llano property. So hence why they're moving forward with just the one home right now is based on kind of the timing of how development and the adjacent Llano property is kind of set up right now. There's not really a determined timeline as to when the Llano property is going to be ready to develop. So this is kind of their interim plan right now to get Linda Carlson's home on the site. And then ultimately it would fit in with the rest of the development that would come an access from the Llano property to the south there.
So long-term, where's how are they accessing the property? If I look at this, I see it says permanent access.
Yeah, so their driveway would basically snake into the cul-de-sac here. So this lot right here is this whole lot for the home that they're creating.
As long-term, the driveway wouldn't be in a steep slope. But for the area where it's moved for those 2 trees, just to preserve those 2 oak trees.
Correct. Yep. So the temp access onto Schramm houses, when development occurs on the rest of the Carlson site, would be taken away from Schramm houses site and then be accessed off of the local street system there.
So what kind of address is this gonna carry?
This will probably have a Chaska Boulevard address.
Ooh.
Well, especially since Schramm does, come through.
Well, I get that, but it's gonna be, obviously it's one house, and I'm just looking emergency services wise.
And I can safely say from the fire side, they've properly vetted this out in terms of looking at the driveway and making sure the home has proper fire suppression.
Change its address?
Probably, yeah. If it's going to be accessed off of the local street system, then yes, it's more than likely going to change addresses.
She is aware of that address change as a possibility.
Yes.
A lot of people don't like giving up addresses.
Right. Yep.
And that's a big thing.
It's painful. I know she's already gone through it once. So
That's what I mean.
Yep.
Okay.
Couple terms in terms of going through a variance application process. So in order to grant a variance, the definition of practical difficulty, what was formerly known as undue hardship, has to be met for the variance request to go through or be considered. So that really comes down to the property owner is proposing to use the property in a reasonable manner, which is not permitted by the zoning district. In this instance, it's not permitted by the wooded steep slope ordinance and setbacks that exist. The plight of the landowner is due to circumstances unique to the property that are not created by the landowner, and the variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. So just a couple questions that we use to go through that evaluation, which are all bulleted here. I'm not going to go into detail on those. Just going to get right into the findings of what we as staff evaluated in terms of meeting practical difficulty for the variance request in the findings that follow. So 1, the property in question cannot be put to reasonable use under the current regulations and setbacks. Number 2, staff feels the plight of the landowner is due to circumstances unique to their property, not created by the landowner. So in this instance, the wooded steep slope delineations are that plight to the landowner, which are a natural formation and not created by the landowner. Number 3, staff also feels that the variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the area. So the home and driveway are located in an area that will be fairly obscured from adjacent properties. They're also located in an area that will be able to fit into the long-term plan for the site when it develops. And then number 4, there's not a reasonable alternative to the variance. The home and the driveway are proposed in a location that would be the least invasive unsignificant trees due to its close proximity to Schramm House and the proposed temporary access. The location is also on the flattest and thinnest wood cover area of the site, therefore minimizing the impacts that it can create. And then lastly, the proposed home and driveway are not greater than necessary to accomplish the landowner's objective. The home and driveway were designed to be reasonable and sensitive to its context. The home is located in an area that will not impact wooded steep slopes and its required setbacks, just the driveway. And then the driveway is smaller than typical driveway widths, but will still accomplish a landowner's objective and meet fire standards for emergency access. So those are the findings that we concluded with in terms of our evaluation of the variance request in meeting practical difficulty. So with that, we're asking you to make two motions this evening. One is in relation to the variance request, which is to adopt resolution number 2023-69, which is approving the major variance request to encroach into the wooded steep slope in the 30-foot no grade, no mow setback. And then based on the findings listed on the last slide and the conditions that are listed in the resolution. And then a second motion to adopt ordinance number 1063, approving the rezoning from open to planned residential district PRD 81.
Yeah, a couple of things that are real pertinent on this site is, first of all, the majority of the land is not protected by ordinance. It's, you know, there might be trees on there, but they're not protected through steep slope ordinance. And I think like Liz said, you know, picking sort of an area for the house that has the least impact on the trees that are out there and putting on more flat space. And I also think, you know, choosing the area that has the thinnest or smallest amount of crossing across the actual steep slope, I think was trying to have as little of impact on the steep slope as possible to get access up there. You know, obviously it would have been preferable to see, you know, some way to be able to connect into ensconced woods to the north of that, but there's a significant ravine in between there that just doesn't really allow for that portion of the property to be accessed from there.
I assume that the driveway would be marked as a private entry or some signage at the end there, just a Shram person doesn't take the right turn a little bit too early to head out of town and go up.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I worry a little bit about that interaction, and I trust that they'll work out the easement, because you just got a business and residents sharing, but you know, I trust that between those two parties, they'll figure it out, and that's good, right? People should work together, but that's the only reaction, is just you got a lot of traffic potentially at times going past that, which I guess isn't.
Well, it's just when they fill up, they can park in those spots there, and that's what I'm
a
little concerned about, blocking that off. And even if they may not see that road. So I don't know how they're gonna do that. That's
it's a little bit like sometimes I envision this will look a lot and feel a lot like the residents across the street from me in Red Cedar Creek, where you got all these houses, but then you just have this driveway that goes.
Oh, Alex Young's.
Yep, goes way. You're like, I didn't even know this existed back there.
Yeah, because that house was there before the development.
Exactly. Yep. So now this will be after. Well, it'll be before the development, but after Tram. So yeah, it's interesting to kind of look at how that lay of the land kind of works in there. And obviously, it's private. They're plowing it themselves. They're taking care of it. I'm not volunteering to snowblow that by any means.
Go ahead.
Probably a question that can't be answered. I mean, future development, what's the timeline on that?
Yeah, we don't have a very solidified timeline as to when that's going to happen. It's contingent on the Llano property, and at this time, they're currently filling in their gravel pit operation. And yeah, we'll see if there's any movement on them wanting to develop soon, but it's been a slow process down there.
Yeah,
I don't worth it for the, you know what I mean? Like you're putting in a driveway and then you're gonna.
It's gonna eventually happen, but I do think that it's not like imminent.
Sure.
We're pretty cautious around steep slopes. Are we comfortable with this, that we're not setting ourselves up for future things? Because we're going to start building around all these steep slopes as we move forward. And that's my biggest concern here. You know, we've talked about it for a lot of times. Don't staple some other council with a problem that we created for in the future.
To me, the difference here is especially with a property like this where the majority is developable, it's a reasonable thing to be able to say that you can have access onto your property. And that's really what, to me, distinguishes it. If there was another way that you could actually get access to the property, then I would say, then yeah, absolutely, we should be saying that access should go on the area that's not going to have the steep slope stuff. But given the fact that she owns the property, we have to be able to provide some access onto the property. And just given what we've talked about the time that it would take for the Llano development to actually go forward and be able to have access to that property, I think there's enough for us to sort of stand by and say, hey, these are pretty unique circumstances, that there needs to be some type of access provided to that property. And it isn't reasonable to say that you have to wait for 10 years or whatever it takes to develop that property. So to me, whenever you do a variance, is how do you make sure that you're truly applying the test, that's going there, and how can we look at this and say that this wouldn't apply in every situation?
If I heard you right, the larger impactful variance would go away when it's developed.
Yeah.
The variance that in theory we're choosing to create to save the trees would remain.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to do that. We just think it's a better solution there because we think the better solution is to save those trees.
And I assume this is all done. It's a healthy oak tree, right?
Correct.
Okay.
If
That
served.
somebody looked at it, made sure that it's not 400 years old and it's all hollowed out in the middle. Okay.
With the, oh,
No, go ahead.
backing up for a second with the easement access with Shrams, and that's like a deal between the two of them,
That's a
right?
private agreement.
And like, because their driveway's a little rough, and that's something that if the property owner is upset about later on, like we have zero responsibility with that, right?
There's quite a few cross access easements that exist around the city. And I can think of a few of them where one side of the pavement's not as good as the other side. And so it exists. I mean, that's a private agreement.
Okay. I just don't want to be like, you allowed this and it's tearing up my car. Okay.
It's not going to impact, now again, she owns the property. It's not going to impact any of the events that have a tram. She obviously knows she's going to hear a lot of music. And
Yes,
that's right. Like that's because I hear the music from my neighborhood. I'm all the way further up that hill on a calm summer evening. I'll hear the music playing from my house.
I mean, again, that's a decision that Schramm made when they did that. I would think that they would have that as a discussion of it, but that's really an agreement between them.
Understand.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying is exactly what I would be concerned about from Schramm, not from, I'd be concerned about from Schramm's position.
Depends on if you like the music that night or not.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that, by 10 o'clock, they're done.
Yeah.
It's not like it's midnight every night.
Usually they close around 9.
9, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think
10 on weekend.
they meet our general city ordinance anyway because they're not open then.
Right. But that is something I thought about too, you're trying to have family over and there's a concert down below. And maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, I don't know. That's
Depends who's playing.
Yeah. But it just seems like we've gone out on a big limb here, and I'm just worried that we're okay with that.
Well, I think
we are.
I think that you are asking exactly the right questions, and because we should not take this. I mean, we should take our wooded steep slopes seriously, but I also think we need to be reasonable when there's not other access that's available to us, a site, and the amount of area that it impacts is pretty minimal.
Well, that's the other question then related to that. So Lano develops, sell houses, is that we open ourselves up for variance requests for those houses going in that space if they encroach onto the steep wooded hills because we approve the one over there? Because we all know
Well,
developers.
no, we're not allowing any of the house or structure there.
Correct. So that would be the consistent piece. Doesn't mean the question.
Maybe go back to that ghost plat of that area.
Because we all know developers are gonna try to put as many houses as they can in that space, right?
Oh,
So,
it's also zone low density residential though.
yeah, and so this,
There's some of that.
I mean, this sort of shows where the steep slopes are and where,
Yeah, so like
how you.
45 there is gonna be set back far enough from the hashed area for my really great terminology here on that
Yeah.
map.
Yeah, so that sort of gives you a sense of how that area could develop in the future.
So to finish that DR Horton, I don't know what it's called, section there, they have to buy part of her land then again? Because that's the boundaries, right?
Yeah, the boundary is right here. So DR Hortons will stub off basically where it's graying out here. The remaining area, which will continue the loop street there. I think right now, the way they're looking at it is a different builder would come in and develop that.
What?
A different builder.
Oh, DR is not gonna go back that far?
We don't know for sure yet,
It
but I
could,
think.
but it
Right.
probably makes some sense to have whoever's coming in on the rest of that to do it.
But so then she's willing to, because where that cul-de-sac comes in, that's her land, so then she'd sell all that off to who's ever developing the Lano property. That would all have to be part of that, correct?
I'll say that again.
Well, isn't her property that dark line on the bottom there?
Yep.
So
Her
who's
sub-
ever developing the Lano then has to buy part of her property to go into there with these two cul-de-sacs, correct?
Yeah, can you show a bigger view of
Is
that?
that, am I getting that right?
See, I don't think I cut it off poorly on my aerial. But generally speaking, from kind of where infrastructure is planned and where access is being planned is kind of along the south portion of Linda Carlson's property and through
So
Lano's.
those two cul-de-sacs are in the Lano property?
No, they're in Linda Carlson's property.
Okay, so that's what
Yep.
I'm saying, whoever develops that needs to buy that parcel to go into that piece as well, but,
Yes.
okay. Okay. Any other questions? Right, then we need to take two actions tonight. We'll start with motion to adopt resolution 2023-69, approving major variance request to encroach on wooded steep slope.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Okay, so I have a motion by Councilmember Hubbard. Second by Councilmember Grau. Again, that's 2023-69, approving major variance requests to encroach on the wooded steep slopes. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now we have to do a motion to adopt ordinance 1036, approving the zoning from open to plan residential district 81.
1063, just to make sure we're accurate on that.
1036.
Ordinance number 1036.
Oh, mine here says 36. Sorry, what is it?
Well,
Mine on my council
I was looking,
thing says 1036. Is it
Yeah.
36 or 63? On my paper, I have 36 as well.
I will double check here really quick.
Well, no, I'm glad you said it. I'm
Yeah.
just reading what mine said here. Then I thought, oh, I could have mixed the numbers up. And then I looked up and I go, no, it says 63 there.
Ordinance says
Yeah, here it says.
36.
I have to get it right per for the system we're using here, so.
We have a list of,
Huh?
we have a list of resolutions, so she's just making sure it's in order.
Yeah, no,
No,
I mean,
I'd rather do it right.
Does reference ordinance 1036 above and below. So someone had to type it twice in, which is better than once, right?
I believe it is 1036. Yep, it is 1036.
Okay, so I'll go back to it again. So now we need a motion to adopt ordinance 1036, approving the rezoning from open to planned residential district 81. Motion by Councilmember Hubbard,
Second.
second by Councilmember Hatfield. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Post same sign. Motion carries. All right, that concludes action items tonight. Next we move on to bills. Anyone have any questions on bills? Hearing none. Motion to pay the bills.
So
Motion by Councilmember McGrath,
second.
second by Councilmember Hubbard. Discussion. Hearing none, Elise, you call roll.
Councilmember Hatfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Howard.
Yes.
Councilmember McGrath,
yes,
Mayor Winchell.
Yes. Right, other business, Councilmember Hatfield.
Let's see. It is August, so.
Barely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what's even happened. There continues to be construction downtown, but we're getting closer to it being done. We had a good downtown business alliance meeting, I think, last time. I feel like no major concerns, just questions about parking and things like that. So with this heat, they're starting earlier in the day this week, a few days. And then also Second Street, while they're prepping to get pavement, may be closed at times, but will always still be that to east-west access. So that's kind of the big updates for that. Other than that, I just think that's it. Oh, no, there's sensory friendly safety day at the fire department this Wednesday. That's what I was trying to think of, which I think is a really nice event that they do. And I believe.
I got the flyer right here for you.
Yeah, okay, great. Oh, thanks. I will read from this.
You take it. I had it on my list, but I'll let you.
Wednesday from 1 to 3. It's at the fire department. And for children, adults, and teens with special needs and their families to explore the emergency vehicles and build relationships with personnel and make a personal connection with first responders, free of horns, lights, and sirens. So we just had touch a truck. This is kind of like touch a truck and quiet. So that's always a nice event.
My type of trip.
Right. I think that's nice because those sensory needs, even I don't really love when it's like super loud. That's stressing me out and I want to leave. So
That's at the fire department, but it's police, fire,
Yeah.
medical.
yeah.
It's the whole emergency services world. So.
One thing I was going to point out, especially since Officer Juzan is here, as it goes into sort of the adaptive programming that we've done, one person who's been absolutely completely active in that whole process has been Mike. He comes to the kickball games and comes to he hates basketball and he comes to basketball games. He wishes we played hockey, but yeah, but it's come to the dances that they have and dance with the kids, and it just the stuff that Mike has done to really build relationships with these children is really incredible. So I just want to make sure to recognize him while he's here.
Thanks, Mike. You're awesome.
That's all I have.
Okay, Councilmember Hubbard.
Just a couple things. The Chaska or the community center open house happened a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to attend the evening one. I heard that the midday one was packed with a lot of folks, but the evening one had some attendees, probably, I would guesstimate maybe like 30-ish people were around there and listened and looked at the slides. I don't know if the presentation's up, but I know for sure that the boards that were presented, like the idea boards, and there is also a survey, there are online. And you would access that by going to the city website and kind of following through. But they're looking for feedback in regards to people's thoughts and if there's anything that was missed. And there's just general information about what's being proposed. So I encourage everybody, whether you're a current user or not, to go ahead and take a look at that. I was just looking that the Chaska Celebrates African Cultures is coming up kind of really close to our next meeting. So I figured I'd mention that. Looks like that's on September 8th from 6 to 9 p.m. At the Chaska Event Center. And it's a free community event. They'll have dance performances by the Somali Museum of Minnesota and a fashion show and educational booths, henna tattoos, variety of food to sample. So it sounds like a wonderful event to partake in. I'm also planning to attend the neighborhood meeting for 82nd Street tomorrow. Just kind of learn what's being proposed in regards to that. And I know that, we have Labor Day and back to school coming up. So just everyone just take it easy and enjoy themselves. And I guess that's everything I have for me.
Okay.
Nothing to add, but I do want to talk a little bit about, I know we don't have any direct connection, but I think the city of Chaska appreciates it with the Scott County traffic plan and permit for the Renaissance Festival with the improved park and ride situations. Again, don't have much control, but it definitely at times impacts Chaska with Highway 41. So I'm hopeful. I know a lot of people are hopeful 169 becomes a part, kind of a mess there. So just encouraging people who attend that to read up on those changes, because there's things that require a ticket ahead of time. You can't just show up anymore. And there's a park and ride event. So I think of all the stuff happening around 41, it's nice to see, Scott County took that initiative to work with the Renaissance Festival. Because again, super good event. People like it, but there's definitely been moments when I've been out and about and around and realized I made a poor choice by which direction I decided to go. And once you're in it, you're in it. You ain't getting back out of it, right? So, so I'm hopeful that those changes are positive, because you want a win-win. You want the people and the residents and people to still have the traffic, and you still want the Renaissance Festival to be successful. So just a comment, and thank you to Scott County in that. And then, like I said, just if you are a Chaska resident in attendance, check up on the new rules and the parking spots and the ticketing process. So, and then lastly, I will shout out to my son Elijah. It is his birthday on Wednesday. He will be 11. So happy early birthday, Elijah. Thank you. And that's all I have there.
Right. Please.
I think the only thing to add, Councilmember Hatfield's update on 41 is sheet piling has now commenced on the east side, or will be commencing later this week on the east side of 41. And if you've been past the Chaska Mill recently, you'll see that a lot of that for the tunnels started to be dug out. And so we are moving forward with that. And just so folks know, we are working very closely with all the businesses and the property owners directly adjacent to what is happening as we go through all of this.
Good job.
Matt? The only thing I was going to just mention, because it's the first time we've had, is just a reminder of the Chaska Cares Music Festival coming up down in Athletic Park from noon till 10 p.m. on October 7th. Should be a great day. It's a partnership between the city of Chaska and the Chaska Rotary. So the Rotary basically went out and paid for all the talent, sort of like we do with other events like River City Days and stuff. We dealt with the infrastructure of bathrooms and things like that. And the Rotary went out and got the entertainment, and we'll be doing the beverages and stuff like that. But it should be a great day of music down there. And then it's a fundraiser for the Miracle League field.
Is there a number that's too much down there?
No,
No, I didn't think so, but.
Yeah, I mean, you could hit, there are plenty of baseball fields that have had in that 10,000 capacity. If we hit that, I would be shocked. So.
Well, especially
Tickets are
for the
for
first
sale
time.
right now. Your tickets are for sale right now.
Yes, the tickets are for sale right now. If you just go to chaskamusicfest.com, you can go on there and you can order your tickets ahead of time, which would be great because then it helps us with some of the planning and know what to expect. It's the first year, and so we're spending a lot of time sort of trying to get that word out into different places. We're looking at trying to create opportunities for maybe neighborhoods if they want to get together, and if we organize transportation for them to get down to the event and then get them back afterwards to maybe make neighborhood type events to go down there. So we're trying to be creative with this first year, knowing that it's always tougher the first year to sort of get that word out. So I will not be
Mike's gonna
busing
drive
people.
the dump truck.
The dump truck. Just jump in the
We
back.
will, just for general traffic, we will have the Southwest Park and Ride, and then we'll have shuttles down from there.
And you need volunteers too.
We do need volunteers. So if anybody is interested in volunteering, it's most likely going to be at the beer garden. We're making it as simple as possible, cans. And so you don't have to pour anything. So
Smart.
Cans and try to get people in and out quick. So, yep. So yeah, if you're interested in volunteering, just let me know. We meet weekly on this now, and we'd love to have people help us out. So.
I would say one thing to do down there is either have car parkers or get some way to get people so they park in there that you can utilize the parking lot.
I don't know that we're gonna have any parking down there. I think we're gonna rely mostly on
parking athletic.
There's not a lot of parking to be had down there. We're still working out the details on that.
There's a lot of parking down there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that could be there, and so we're still evaluating the parking site.
Okay.
Buy a few tickets. Get parking.
Yeah,
That's true.
Well,
Not-
as long as you
that's not a
consider if
terrible
it,
idea.
about what,
VIP parking
Oh.
passes for extra fundraising.
Charge for that.
or people that volunteer to work at the beer garden.
No, they can walk.
No, I think it's a fundraising opportunity.
All right. Anything else, Matt? Christoph, anything? Liz, may as well go around the room.
I know.
Nothing?
You.
All right. Just a few quick things. Schedule. We just can't get on track this year. We seem to keep hitting holidays. So our September 4th meeting is Labor Day, so no meeting. Then will be the 11th and the 18th. And then we go back to October 2nd and 16th. So we're back on track then again for a while there. Another event, we kind of talked about a bunch of events. I know we got more council meeting, is the Latin Music Festival, Food and Music Festival, September 22nd. That's at Fireman's Park. So that's another one. And there's fireworks at what, 8:30? 8:30. Fireworks are so awesome on there.
Ah, well,
Perfect for
fireworks.
kids,
Yep.
families.
Yep, and it's early and you can
Yep.
still be done and whatever. So the water tower got demoed up on top of the hill, is now gone. I heard that the neighborhoods had a big party, they had mimosas, they had toast. That they couldn't wait for that to go away. So that's I thought it was pretty cool.
Such
that
a
they-
beautiful structure.
that they organized and had a little party as the wrecking ball was swinging at it. So Labor Day's coming up before we meet again. So if you're out traveling, be safe. Our Congressman Emmer has opened the office at the Hazeltine Gates building. Just last week, we had a grand opening or ribbon cutting, I guess, for it. So I think that that's a great opportunity for us to use our US congressman a lot more than we maybe had access in the past. Actually, myself and, are you joining me tomorrow?
Yeah.
So Matt and I are gonna meet with the young man, Blake. Anyways, the young man that's manning that office. So we're gonna meet with him tomorrow just to get to know him. We do have a little business for him as well right away. So that's I think is really a good thing for us to have that availability to get to those folks, especially now with all the stuff we got going on in the building and things like that. So it's a great opportunity. So, and for anyone, they have regular hours. You can go out there and meet. And you know, if you got concerns with your congressman. So farmers market's still happening, goes till September 20th. And that's from 4 to 7 now. So note, I think that's a time change as of a week or two ago. So, and then lastly, fire department asked me to bring up the 2, Councilmember Hatfield already took care of one. The other one is their open house. Their annual open house is Monday, September 11th. And as usual, we have a council meeting, but we don't have a work session. So we are able to get to for a little while before we have to come down here for council meeting. But that is from, it says 5 to 7 activities, 7 to 8 live demonstrations, bounce house, vehicle extrication, and so much more. So stop out at the fire department. It will be the last one on that site. Well, no, it won't be the last one on that site with the current situation there. Let's put it that way. I don't think I had anything else.
I have one more thing.
Yep, go ahead.
I just thought of it when you mentioned athletic park. Just want to, acknowledge the Chaska Cubs. I know their season came to an end at the state tournament. The thing that I love, that I've learned to love and appreciate with the Cubs is kids get in free. And you think about getting people excited and generations excited about baseball, and MLB's played with games with pitch clocks, which is wonderful, by the way, to get more fans interested. But it's just simple things like, don't make it a burden to bring families to baseball games and go. And it's good baseball and it's fun and they learn. So just a huge appreciation and shout out for that. And it's not expensive for adults either, right? So that's helpful as well. But I just think like more baseball organizations and teams need to do that, to allow families to bring their kids and to experience baseball, to get them interested and kind of continue to build that sport. Because, numbers continue to decline in baseball and fandom does decline because games can be long, games can be boring, but if you're my kids, you chase foul balls, you get $1. That's gone up in price lately. That's called inflation there. I forget, it was like 50 cents a couple of years ago. Now quarter, now it's $1. Because baseballs aren't actually cheap. They're like $5 a baseball. That's kind of what they're on. So just a shout out to that, because I just think it's cool, because again, it's just, you can, the cheapest baseball game that you can really kind of see, that's pretty good competition and fun. So definitely huge shout out and congratulations on a pretty successful year. Didn't end the way it is, but as we all know, only one team feels like they ended successful at the end of the year. So.
Yeah. I will tell you that as being part of that organization for 20 years, that was always a mission. It's about, it does no good if you don't have people in the stands. So whatever you can do to get the people in the stands, about user-friendly, sightline friendly, it's tried to be made to do just what you're talking about, John, and be able to give the kids $1 and let them go. They're safe in there. They're not going to get it half the time. They can't get out anywhere once they're in there. So it's a lot of fun, and they have such a following. I went to the game in Waconia, and I would bet you that 95% of the people at that park, and it was pretty full, was Chaska. Yeah, I won't go into the new pairing bracket. I'll just let that go for another day. So, all right.
A and B together.
Anything else? Otherwise, we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Councilmember Graw, second by Councilmember Hubbard to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. We'll see you in a few weeks. Have a good